Okay, lights in the sky.
Dave Whitley.
One of the Southern California Native American groups, the Cahuilla, who lived in the Palm Springs area, they had a very significant spirit associated with shamans who is known as Takwitz. And Takwitz was essentially the primary spirit helper from which shamans obtained their supernatural power. One result of that is that rock art sites were known as Takwitpuki, which means Takwitz's house. Now it turns out that Takwitz means ball lightning. And so that particular phenomenon, which frankly is quite rare, lightning in California alone is fairly rare, but they were keying on what is in fact probably a real natural phenomenon.
Paul Devereaux heads the Dragon Project Trust, a team of scientists studying claims of unusual energies at prehistoric sites worldwide.
We certainly have found magnetic rocks, and we have found areas of high natural radiation in and around or adjacent to places that have long ago developed as monuments of religious significance.
Michael Persinger.
There will be some areas more prone than others, because we know that just like some areas are very refreshing, such as near waterfalls and in certain kinds of highly green areas where there's lots of oxygen, health spas and so forth, there are also areas which recurrently are associated with special kinds of experiences that have cosmic significance. And incidentally, the cosmic significance is due in large part to the fact that the same stimulation that produces the perceptual phenomena also stimulates the part of the brain that gives it tremendous cosmic and divine meaning.
Dr. William Roll.
Well, it's a very interesting question. There are areas that supposedly have healing powers, and it stands to reason that there might be areas that have the power to harm. And certainly the home that you occupied, if stayed in for any long length of time, certainly had that possibility and probably that actuality that it is a dangerous place and that measures need to be taken to deal with that danger.
What we have found experimentally is that certain kinds of pulses that generate the opiate releases, which occur naturally and we can now duplicate experimentally, produce very pleasant feelings. People want to come back. But we also have pulses, which also occur in nature. They're frequency modulated in large part, that produce terror. And they also produce aggression, and they produce irritability, and they produce unpleasantness. And if you happen to be in this area or live in it, you will be inundated with these experiences to the point, potentially, of adversely affecting your health.
October 1998. I'm in Canmore again, making a television program about my haunted house experience in the Rockies. Diary. I thought I'd give it one more go. From the vacation trailer park, a temporary home for the television crew, I was mere minutes away from my old house in Canmore, but it may as well have been a zillion kilometers. I called from a phone booth. A man answered with an accent. The phone line crackled. I quickly identified myself. He didn't say anything, handed the phone off to a woman. Yes, she replied. I explained what I was doing, told her about possible machine and computer anomalies, not just the spooky stuff, because of the naturally occurring fields. Science is interested, I said. And I told her I'd like to speak with the couple about their house in person. October is not good, she said. And then I told her I was already in town, just around a few corners, in fact. My husband does not want you to come in here, she said tersely. I offered that I might be able to answer some questions, why your phone, for instance, might be distorted. She didn't bite. We are having renovations, she said. Silence. There was nothing left to say but goodbye. Has anyone considered the possibility that electromagnetic radiation does not induce hallucinations? Wrote a listener from Saskatchewan. But rather helps us to see what is already there. Perhaps a spirit world does exist alongside us all the time, in a kind of anti-universe, something that modern physics has proven could exist. By stimulating certain parts of the brain, perhaps we're able to see more. It may be that these hot spots on Earth are just places that have enough electromagnetic radiation to allow us to see what exists everywhere. Dr. Ronald Siegel.
Depending on the circumstances where you are, it depends on how you're going to interpret these particular phenomena. In our laboratory, people sort of expect to see these things, and none of them freak out. None of them start talking about UFOs, near-death experiences, or visits to the other side, or all kinds of cosmic, spiritual journeys. They expect to see a certain phenomena, and they report it with a detached medical perspective. But in the real world, people will be influenced by the set and setting, by their expectation and attitudes about where they are. The good news also is that this shows that no matter how different we look on the outside to each other, there's a harmony of this interior landscape that we all share. And that should bring us all a little bit closer together.
Haunted House, Haunted Mind by Don Hill. 3 programs from Ideas, produced by Max Allen with Dave Field. Tonight's program is available in real audio on the Internet through the Ideas site at www.radio.cbc.ca. All 3 programs in this series are also available on audio cassette. It's $24, including taxes and postage, for the set of 3. From Ideas, Box 500, Station A, Toronto M5W1E6, or by email, ideas@cbc.ca. I'm Lister Sinclair. Happy Halloween.
You're listening to CBC Radio 1, News and more.